The shadow behind the banyan tree. Arjun had never been afraid of the dark. Growing up in the small village of Devapur, he learned early that the night was just another part of life. The darkness brought the sounds of crickets, the smell of wet earth after the monsoon rains, and the distant ringing of temple bells carried by the wind. But there was one place in Devapur that everyone avoided after sunset. The old banyan tree at the edge of the village. No one knew exactly how old it was. Some said it had been there for hundreds of years, long before the first houses were built. Others said its roots grew around something buried beneath the ground. Something that was never meant to be found. Children were warned not to play near it. Farmers took longer paths around the fields to avoid passing beneath its branches. Even the oldest villagers, the ones who laughed at ghost stories, refused to speak about the tree once the sun went down. But Arjun never believed them. To him, the banyan tree was just a tree. A strange-looking one, maybe, but still just a tree. At 27 years old, Arjun worked at the nearby train station. His job was simple: checking tickets, helping passengers, and making sure the last trains of the night left safely. He often returned home late, riding his old motorcycle through the quiet roads outside the village. Everyone told him the same thing: don't take the road by the banyan tree after midnight. And every time, Arjun would smile. The villagers never laughed. That was what bothered him. They never argued. They never tried to convince him. They simply looked away. One night, during the middle of the rainy season, Arjun's shift ended later than usual. The station was nearly empty. The final train had disappeared into the darkness, its horn fading into the distance until there was nothing left but silence. Arjun started his motorcycle and began his journey home. Rain fell lightly against his jacket as he traveled down the empty road. The village lights were still several miles away. Then his motorcycle began to sputter. Once. Twice. Then the engine died. Arjun tried starting it again. Nothing. He looked around. The road was empty. The only thing nearby was the old banyan tree. He checked his phone. No signal. With a frustrated sigh, he pushed the motorcycle toward the side of the road. "That's just perfect," he muttered. The rain stopped. And suddenly, the silence felt different. Not peaceful. Wrong. Arjun looked toward the banyan tree. The huge branches moved slightly. But there was no wind. He stared for a moment. Then he heard it. Footsteps. Behind him. Slow footsteps. Crunching against the wet dirt. Arjun turned around quickly. Nothing. The road stretched into the darkness. "Hello," he called. Only silence answered. He laughed nervously. "Great. Now I'm starting to scare myself." He turned back toward his motorcycle. That's when he heard the whisper. "Why did you leave me?" Arjun froze. The voice was soft. Almost sad. He slowly turned toward the banyan tree. A woman stood beneath the branches. She wore a faded white sari that looked soaked from the rain. Her long black hair covered most of her face. Arjun's heart began pounding. "Are you okay?" he asked. The woman didn't move. "Why did you leave me?" Her voice sounded closer this time. Arjun stepped back. "I don't know who you are." The woman slowly lifted her head. Her hair moved away from her face. But Arjun couldn't see her features clearly. It was as if the darkness itself was covering her. Then she whispered, "You were supposed to come back." A chill ran through him. "I think you have mistaken me for someone else." The woman tilted her head. A strange silence followed. Then she said, "That's what he said too." The branches above them suddenly shook, and the motorcycle behind Arjun started by itself. The engine roared loudly. Arjun jumped. He looked back. The motorcycle's headlights flickered on. When he looked back at the tree, the woman was gone. Arjun did not stop riding until he reached his house. He locked the door behind him and stayed awake until morning. The next day, he went to the oldest man in the village, a man named Ravi who had lived there his entire life. When Arjun told him what happened, Ravi's face changed. "What did she say?" he asked. Arjun repeated the words. "Why did you leave me?" The old man became silent. Finally, he whispered, "She spoke to you." Arjun frowned. "What does that mean?" Ravi looked toward the window, toward the road leading to the banyan tree. "Many years ago, a woman named Mira lived here. She was kind. Everyone loved her. But one night, she disappeared. People searched for days. They found her belongings near the banyan tree, but they never found her. Arjun swallowed. What happened to her? Ravi looked at him. No one knows. Then why are people afraid? The old man lowered his voice. Because every few years, someone hears a voice. And every time. He paused. They disappear. That evening, Arjun decided he needed answers. He didn't believe in ghosts, but he needed to understand what he saw. He returned to the banyan tree. This time, he brought a flashlight. The area beneath the tree was darker than it should have been. The massive roots twisted across the ground like they were hiding something. Then his light landed on something